on a IFTT basis. All right, are you guys familiar with that term, IFTT? If you guys have any kind of like Alexa or Google Home, those work on an IFTT basis as well, right? If this, then that. Which means if I give a command, then this will happen, right? Same with smart contracts. The way they are written is so that when a specific function is met, it'll execute another function, right? So let's say, Nate, I'm gonna sell you a pair of sneakers, right? So the smart contract that we both will be able to look at and agree on will say when Nate transfers Mike $50 in Bitcoin, the sneakers will get released to Nate, right? And that's all automatic. It's non. You can't change it. Once it's written and it's encoded, it is what it is. And you have the ability to look at it and see that and confirm it, and so do I, right? So it leaves little room for error, if any. Obviously, there is still some bugs in the system that need to be worked out, but overall, it's a game-changing technology, right? It can apply to a multitude of different industries, okay? You think about, buying a car or buying a house, the whole process for, escrow and that whole nine. With using a smart contract, you'll be able to eliminate a lot of the middlemen and a lot of the costs associated with transferring money for title. You guys follow me? All right. Brian, do you want to add anything to the intro?
Yeah, just pretty much as you were saying. No. Smart contracts, as you're saying, it's like if and then statements. So as like another good example, like if I give you, like $20, then I receive whatever item that I'd be buying from you, or whatever like thing you would be selling. And because it is what it is, because the smart contract is coded is if I give you this, then I get that. There's no there's no person holding both things at once. So there's no like, oh, you give me this, and then when I have it, I give you that. If you have it and they have that item, when the smart contract deploys, it's instantaneous. So the second, you accept the transaction, the if you give them that, goes to them, and the then you receive that from them happens. So it's like they get your coins or your money or whatever, and you receive that item at the exact moment. There is no one, person holding both things, or the other person holding them and deciding to just run off and not deliver the, final item to the person. If it goes through and it's accepted, then both parties get, what they wanted. The person that got the money or whatever currency receives the, coin in their account. The person that, is getting whatever product is going to get that in their account. And everybody's going to be happy. It's going to be instantaneous. There's going to be no middle person, because it's all just, it's code. There's no actual, like, human looking at it and being like, all right, they have this. Now let's get this to the other person. It's all done through, like, coding and, like, set in stone, methods. So, it's
Exactly.
pretty much that.
So, and just to, just to get everyone on board, we host these events in the hopes of raising awareness for cryptocurrency and blockchain. And we want this to be a discussion, not like a presentation. So if at any point you guys have any questions or comments or anything to add, please feel free to, right? We don't want everyone talking over each other.
Yes.
But, if you have something valuable to add, please feel free to join in that conversation, all right? So we're going to be moving forward. All right, so like we said, smart contracts help you exchange money, property, shares, or anything of value in a transparent, conflict-free way while avoiding the services of a middleman. Like I said, this technology can really, it can be groundbreaking for a lot of industries. Everything from the entertainment industry, where you hear on the news all the time, contract disputes, this person's suing that person, this person owes me money or whatever. If this was all happening on a smart contract, there'd be no way to really go against what the terms were, right? And the terms will be out clearly so that both parties can agree to it. Anything you want to add to that, Brian?
So, just kind of like a good example for coding them. So if and then statements, it sounds very basic, and that you wouldn't like, you would think that there's not really a whole lot you can do with an if and then statement. However, just the ability of being able to do something like if this happens, then this happens, opens up literally endless possibilities. So with smart contracts, you can create anything from video games to like blockchain, software for, as you were saying, like healthcare and things for, agriculture and literally every aspect of life. So a prime example would be games like a few crypto and blockchain games that have come out. Do things like world payout. So you go in, you spend some crypto on the game, you get some assets, some characters, you start fighting with them, you earn some crypto to tell you how much you've earned, and then you'll get the money back. And a lot of these games allow you to view the white paper or view the actual smart contract. And if they allow you to see the smart contract, it allows you to essentially read the code. And for anyone that can actually understand code, because that's what smart contracts is. So a great way to look at it would be a smart contract is literally a digital contract. So how a lawyer writes up a contract on paper, saying, if this happens, then this happens, if this, then that, the same thing a smart contract would be, except in layman's terms that, I can read, you can read, a judge can read. A smart contract has to be done so a computer can read it. And computers don't understand English and, basic language like, people do. They understand code. They understand ones and zeros and, different programming languages that people have created like Java, C++, whatever. So to be able to make something, a smart contract on the computer, you have to be able to code it. You have to be able to write it in a programming language, and to be able to understand it and read it, it's going to say the exact same things that any contract would say. It'll have the same, agreements, the same terms. If, they get this, then, the person gets that. It'll be all completely laid out in layman's terms. You just need to be able to understand programming language to be able to know what the contract is saying. And it's all open. So if they, allow you to read the smart contract and be like, we're not a scam, check us out, like you can see the payouts. If you can understand the programming language and see like, oh, they pay out to, players, it's on the blockchain. Like as Mike was saying, like there is no changing the smart contract once it's deployed. It can't be, tampered with. It can't be, changed, removed, whatever. It's on the blockchain. So if you can understand it, then it's basically telling you, hey, this is what's happening. This is the contract for the game. It's not going to change. It's, set in stone. And that's what a lot of people like about, smart contracts, and also what some people don't like about it. Because if you make a mistake and then deploy it, then you're very vulnerable for hacks and attacks and all sorts of bad things. So we'll probably...
The other thing with smart contracts
yeah.
is that they're automatically enforced once those agreements have been reached, right? So if you code in a smart contract, let's say Bill wants to sell me a house, and we have it coded that once I release funds to Bill, that deed automatically comes to me, right? Once those funds are released and the process is deployed, you can't go back on it. It's automatically enforced, right? So for a lot of industries, this would be really good, because you hear about people reneging on contracts, on deals, on on things they have going on in the business world, right? So it's a really good way to enforce deals, for lack of a better term. So think of a smart contract like a vending machine, right? When you go to a vending machine, you put $1 in, you select your item, and it comes out, right? That's the way a smart contract works. It's if this, then that. If I put $1 in this vending machine, I'm going to get this bag of chips, right? So to put it simply, that's how it works. You code it so that if this, then that, and then it's deployed, and there's no way to get out of it. It's just it's a contract.
One thing I wonder about smart contracts, like if you make a smart contract based for something like eBay, and you say you want a car, and someone gives you the money, but that guy, instead of sending you a car, sends you a teddy bear, how does the smart contract know that you've been scammed?
So the great thing about smart contracts and the blockchain is that they have great things with their token system, to where You can, it's what's called right now, like the basics of them are like ERC 720s or 721s, ERC 20s, and 1155s. They are different forms of tokens, and essentially what these tokens are they're unique. So they're one of a kind. If you have one, no one else has the exact same one if you're using like 721, and it's programmed this way, so you can read it in the programming of what these tokens are. And they have a whole bunch of these like projects coming out to where you can tokenize things. So if you ever hear that term swimming around, this is what it's going to be. So what it is, a great example is the Mona Lisa. This is one that I've heard about so many times, tokenizing the Mona Lisa. So what it would be is you take the actual physical, the painting, the Mona Lisa painting, and you deploy it onto the blockchain. So whoever actually like owns it, whatever, like, you know, museum or whatever, would go through this like project or this group, this company that you know, does, you know, stuff with tokens that you know, tokenizes actual physical things, and they will give it an identification number, a unique like code, like number, transact, like hash that is, you know, completely unique, like one out of, you know, one of a kind, and it'll go onto the blockchain. So then if, you know, you can sell it, if you know, whatever you decide to do with it on the blockchain, like with the token for the Mona Lisa, it's, you know, there's only one token. So how there's only one painting of the Mona Lisa, like the real one, it's unique. There will be only one token ever of it, and whoever owns it, you know, it's, you know, it's legit. So if you're going to say buy, you know, that Mona Lisa like on the eBay for blockchain, you would, you know, see it for sale, and if it says it's the, you know, Mona Lisa, if it's something that, you know, legit, that expensive, something like that, you'll be able to, and even if it's not, you'll probably be able to anyway, look at the actual like the unique identification for it, and be able to verify that it is real. So you'll be able to like check and confirm that the item is what they say it is before you actually buy it. So that way, once you confirm it and it instantly goes through, you will be receiving that token. So if you don't do your own like research and it's just a fake coin, because that's, a lot of people can do that. Then you just come up with a fake token, just call it like, you know, a Mona Lisa, you know, token, instead of, you know, just the whatever the actual name is, just like change it a tiny bit, and then, you know, sell it calling it the real thing. You could obviously do that. Like, you could be like, oh, this is the you know, Mona Lisa, and then spend millions, billions of dollars on it, and then just get some, you know, useless junk token if you don't, you know, go and actually look into that. However, something like that, you know, something that would actually tokenize real physical items would most definitely have some sort of way to confirm it, or even not physical items, but like digital items or anything of importance like that you would be like transacting. You'd be able to like confirm whether it's like legit or not. And if you can't, then it's really just kind of your own risk, and do your own research, essentially. That's the big term that goes around, that's really up to you. No one's going to be kind of like helping you, guiding you, letting you know if it's real or not. That's just kind of like something you have to do.
So even with that being said, you know, these smart contracts still have to operate within the law, right? So even like in today's world, right? Like I said, you can still have disagreements on a contract, and if it is unlawful, it could be negated, right? Same thing with digital smart contract, right? So if I sell you a car on eBay and you receive a box of lemons, right? It's not going to be the end all, because you can still open a dispute. You know, eBay being the third party can still can come up with a resolution. You know, especially when it comes to the blockchain, there's always going to be a record of who said what and where it ended up to, right? So, regardless of whether, you know, well, for Ethereum anyways, there's going to be a record of where it's being sent from and where it's going to. So whether or not, you know, eBay can strictly enforce a policy of return or not, but, you know, everything still has to operate within the law, right? No matter how bleeding edge the technology is, it still has to operate within U.S. law, as we're seeing today with a lot of the SEC stuff going on, right? So yeah, Brian, do you want to add?
Well, what do you So can you, because when you buy something on the blockchain, so when you like actually do perform a transaction, it's, it goes through, it's done. So if you say you're sending like an Ethereum to someone, like 1 Ether, and you send it to, say, the wrong address, you mess it up by 1 character, or you get the wrong item, you can make a dispute, and you will be able to see that, like, what their address is. However, unless there is some other way to actually confirm the identity behind that address, there's not really much they can actually do. You can't really shut down someone's address, and you can't really find anything beyond, like, if it's connected to, like, a Coinbase account and someone actually took, like, a major interest and, like, did research and, like, tracked it back to an exchange and, went through all the work. But it's very, very difficult. So that's one big reason why a lot of you were saying.
So, like, but there is services out there now, right? One of them is called
Are there?
Sentinel Protocol. That what it does is it works on blacklisting certain addresses, right? And when we say addresses, we mean wallet addresses, not physical addresses.
Yes.
So Sentinel Protocol, for example, they work on exposing scammers and blacklisting their wallets so that they're not allowed to later on use those wallets for, exchanges, or especially if someone's making a large transaction and they want to cash out. And they want to go through. There's only so many fiat gateways out there where you can exchange your crypto for cash.
Is this project out, or?
Yeah, Sentinel Protocol.
Yeah, it's like currently like active. You're saying? Can you pull it up on the other thing? You want to pull it up real quick on the thing if you can manage it? I haven't heard of any of these, so that's actually something very interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would solve it.
Mhm.
Really kind of.
Yeah, no, it really would, because that's a big reason why a lot of people used to use like Bitcoin on the dark web and for all those shady transactions, is because it used to be where it's almost impossible to actually identify who owns the wallet where the transactions are coming and going from. However, if there's something like that, I can see sort of it. I can see the code and then a video. It's like half screened. Yeah, I mean, scroll up.
We're still having some issues.
That's not fun. Okay, here we go. Here's the top of it.
See
Upward
this part?
Okay, yeah, here we go. The big what if. Let me just hop to this side. What if there?
If you guys can see that, take a gander.
Yeah.
Sentinel
Yeah, and then we can
Protocol
just move
is
on.
One of many. So they're one of the first.
That is new to me.
Yeah, they have they have the one aspect of cybersecurity when it comes to securing your wallet. When the whole Ian Belina hack happened, where he got hacked for like $1.2 million, he actually was an advisor for this company, and they helped them find the wallets for the individuals and freeze them.
Huh.
So they couldn't move the currency or the assets around. So, we do live. Crypto is the Wild West right now. People are still getting away with stuff every day, but there's companies like Sentinel Protocol who are working to fight that. But yeah, moving on with any other questions? Any other questions about smart contracts before we move on? All right. So as you can see here, smart contract between parties is written as code into the blockchain, like Brian was explaining. There's a couple different variations of the type of code you can use. I think the most popular is on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's
Solidity. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, Solidity.
So it's written as a code, and then the individuals involved are anonymous, but the contract is public in the ledger. So that means that I can see your public key, and you can see mine, but you don't know who they belong to, right? Unless you're doing a deal with someone you know. So after a triggering event happens, expiration date, strike price, the contract will execute itself according to the terms, okay? And once it does, you can track everything happening on the blockchain. Again, it's immutable, it's for the most part tamper resistant, and there's always going to be a record of it happening. All right, so here's a couple examples of how we can use smart contracts in everyday industries. Like we were saying earlier, government, management, a bunch of companies now are starting to look into blockchain solutions for their companies, right? Like we're talking before you jumped in, we're talking about this new Facebook hack, where 50
really?
million people, got their information compromised. And what I was saying was, if that information was stored on a blockchain, it would
That'd be a lot harder.
to,
Way harder.
Yeah. So, Bitcoin is one of the companies that's actually looking into deploying a blockchain for their information. So, obviously a little bit too little, too late, but hopefully moving towards in the future, that'll be a solution that they implement.
Well, I know Facebook's looking in the blockchain tech, so that'd be something smart for them to hop onto.
Exactly. Yeah.
They just be
So like
cloud-based blockchain, like there's some cloud-based blockchains like Coin and some other like MadeSafe and those.
so what they're doing is, so the blockchain isn't stored in the cloud. The blockchain is stored on the nodes, right? So if you're contributing to the Coin network, you actually have the entire blockchain downloaded to your computer or your node or your miner, or for Coin it's a miner. So your miners are running that blockchain as a node. So the entire blockchain is stored on that node, as well as every other node that's mining on that blockchain. Now, what they're offering is a cloud service, right? It's using computational power from those nodes to host a cloud. Okay? So the blockchain itself isn't on the cloud. It's actually stored in those nodes. And every node running has the same copy of that blockchain being being added to and changed as it goes on. Okay?
It's like their own copy of a ledger.
Yeah, every node on the network has a copy of it, and every node is coming to a consensus in order to modify that ledger moving forward. Okay, adding blocks to it, blockchain. So yeah, I mean, but there is problems, right? As Brian was saying earlier, there's a lot of real smart and real sneaky people out there that can sneak in some code on a smart contract that, like we were saying, once deployed is deployed. Okay, so if you ever find yourself in this, obviously, I don't think for the most part that regular, non-coders like me or you or Brian will, or I know Brian knows a little bit about coding, but like me, will ever look at a smart contract and be like, this looks good, yep, let's do it. I'd have someone who knows the language check it out for me, right? You guys follow me? Because there can be some values in there that change the way that the contract deploys. Right, Brian? Anything you want to add to the problems?
Yeah, so no, as he was just kind of saying, like, when you're making them, this is why a lot of, like, projects and groups, like, on the, like, blockchains that you hear about, like, oh, we're making this on the blockchain or that on the blockchain, when you actually go and, like, look at them, they'll be like, oh, we're about to, release, and then, they're raising funds, and then they're taking a really long time to actually release onto, like, the main net or, like, actually go officially live. And the main reason is because they literally have teams of hackers who they pay to do nothing but sit around and try to hack into their code. Because the entire point of the blockchain space is it's a little bit flawed at the moment, in my personal opinion, because a lot of projects, their entire thing is you get something right, you make it, you create something, you release it, you find the flaws, and then you update it, as it goes. You continuously find what's wrong and you fix it. On the blockchain with a smart contract, you can't do that. You have to make sure it's absolutely 100% airtight before you launch it. Once it's launched, it's out, it's on the blockchain, and you can't edit anything on the blockchain. So if you, look through, you have a bunch of, hackers go and, search through it for days, and they can't do it. And then you're like, oh, this is, perfect, it's good. And you launch it. And then one really particular, smart guy or just, like, intuitive guy just, like, goes, hey, I'm going to take a look at that code. And they go and they surf through it and they notice something. They notice a tiny little loophole in the person's code, in the, project's, code. And they're like, oh, I can spam this. I can alter this little bit of code, this tiny little, maybe it's like 1 character, 2 characters. They screwed something super small up, but that tiny mistake allows for the hacker to siphon out millions upon millions of dollars from, these projects, from all their funding to any funding that people invest in, and just, do whatever. They can just like take all their money and run without a trace. And a lot of hackers have done it. They've gone in, they've stolen like 5, 6, 10 plus million dollars from blockchain projects and then disappeared, and they've never been able to been caught, and they never will be caught because there's no possible way to be able to locate their address or find out who they were or how they got in. So it's you really, really need to make sure that you have it right, because anything can happen. And if you're spending, if you raise $100 million, on a blockchain project, and you spend like 2-3 years and like, $50-60 million building it, and you're about to, launch it and make it go live, you want to make sure that there's not a single doubt in any way possible that someone's going to be able to come in, whether a month from now or 10 years from now, and be able to take all your money and just run off. And just because once that happens, once they find out that it's vulnerable and your project is like, it's, your money's gone, there's a way to hack it, no one's going to trust it. No one's going to want to put money in it. No one's going to want to use it because they know that it's gone. It's like, hey, you just lost like $70 million. And in any, real world, like, oh, you just lost $70 million, like, you're going to go to court. Like, you are going to go to jail. Someone is going to go to jail for that, because that's people's money. That's people investing in it. That's people, reading this and getting promises and investing their money, hearing that it's going to be safe and they're not going to lose it, and then it just poof, it disappears, and the people behind the project are just like, we don't know, it's gone, we can't do anything, we can't give it back, they don't have the money to return to you, and that's it, your money's gone. And so that's one of it's something that they worry about. It's something that they're trying to fix, and that's why they pay hackers in this field to just sit there and try to break into their code, because they need to make sure it's as airtight as can possibly be. And it's it's something that needs to be fixed. However, at the moment it definitely is helping with getting more and more people into the like programming space and the developing space, considering in this whole field of blockchain and whatever, it really is moving into programming language and like computer like language. And so as it does improve in the next 5, 10 whatever years from now, as more and more people use smart contracts and it gets better and the technology improves, less and less people are going to be actually using like standardized contracts and that sort of thing. And it's eventually going to potentially come to a point where if one of these smart contracts actually as Mike was saying, like breaks the law and goes to court, a judge is not going to be able to read the smart contract unless that judge actually knows like hardcore programming. He will not be able to understand what the contract is saying, because he won't be able to read the programming language. And then you'll need to start hiring analytics people and technicians and that sort of computer people into like courtrooms and get them into this field of law to be able to confirm these contracts and make sure it's legit. And then you're going to need to make sure there's people there to confirm those people. And so as this actually continues to get more and more popular and mainstream, it's definitely gonna start making some big changes for jobs and such in the next few years. At least that's what I personally believe. Mm-hmm.
But fret not, my friends, because the FBI has been making leaps and bounds in the field. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a crypto advisor named Ian Bellina who actually got hacked for 1.2 million, and he was able to recover his funds. So obviously they're not exactly discussing details on how they accomplished that, but the end game was that it was accomplished, right? So the government is making more and more strides into this arena, and that could be good and bad, but in our case right now, for what we're talking about, it's a good thing. All right, so next we're going to talk about some of the blockchains out there that actually host smart contracts. So like we said earlier, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Bitcoin has a limited ability to host smart contracts. I'm not exactly sure as to the extent because I've never seen.
Yeah,
a
no,
smart
I had
contract,
no
but-
idea.
Yeah, but apparently the ability is there, and there's people out there using it. NXT, actually I've never heard of it, but apparently public blockchain, and they have another limited selection of what kind of smart contracts you can write on their platform. Obviously, Ethereum is the biggest. That's its claim to fame, is actually its ability to implement smart contracts in a wide array of conditions.
No, I know.
It's pretty much-
No, I was just gonna say I know. Neo for like another one is one where you can actually apparently like edit smart contracts. I know that was like a big thing. Or not. Neo EOS was
Yeah,
for
yes,
like.
that's right.
I was hearing about that. I didn't look too much into it. I was kind of like curious about that. There's definitely not many. I think that's like one of the very very few of its kind. And there's definitely, it's not just like you can just go in and change it whenever, but not all of them are completely like unchangeable. So that we're not experts. Obviously, we don't know all of them. So there's probably another couple handful that are super small and upcoming that are like EOS, but we can't say that's.
Personally, is Zilliqa.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God,
They were
yes.
able to, they were able to reach, I want to say 2,500 transactions per second on their
Woo!
testnet. And what they use sharding, right? Where they have clusters of nodes, right? So there's 600 nodes to a cluster, and that's a shard. So they had 3 shards. 3 shards. So they had 3 shards, right? 1,800 nodes. They were able to reach 2,500 transactions per second. Now, the trick here is each one of those shards contains a portion of the blockchain. So they use a hybrid consensus mechanism to reach consensus across the entire blockchain, right? How they do it, it might as well be voodoo to me, because I'm not a tech guy, but they've accomplished it. And the next hurdle is implementing their smart contracts using sharding, right? Because again, the whole blockchain isn't stored on every single node, which is why it's so fast. There's a portion of it. So in order to implement a smart contract, they'd have to find out how to use that with sharding, which they're doing. And I believe they just pushed their mainnet back to January of next year, January, February, where they should have the ability to launch smart contracts on their platform. So I'm excited about that.
Really,
I'm a big
January?
believer in
Wow.
Zilliqa. Yeah, January, February.
That's huge. That's quick.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of smart contracts. If you guys have any questions or any comments, now is the perfect time. Does anyone have any questions?
Mhm.
I see one application for crypto that is perfect for crypto, since everything is so anonymous. Like there's those VPN coins coming out, like Private6, Substratum, and Mysterio. There's not that many, aren't there? And they're not really worth that much compared to like some higher ones, like economic infrastructure type coins. But
So I didn't even know that. I thought Substratum was a decentralized internet. I didn't know that it was exactly building a VPN service. I mean, I'm sure that there could be a VPN service enabled on their infrastructure, but I didn't know that was their goal. But I want to say there's another project. I want to say it's called
Orchid Protocol also.
Orchid Protocol. Yep. And then there's another one. It's called, I want to say it's Onion Protocol, but it's run on the Tor network. And it allows for
Can find it.
anonymous addresses. But right now, with the likes of Verge and the likes of Monero and Komodo, they do have stealth addresses which are cloaked. So you can choose whether to show your address or not. But again, you guys have to remember, there's only so many fiat gateways, which at the end of the day, if your end game is to cash out, there's only so many options for that, and I think that's where most people get stuck. But yeah, I gotta look into that VPN coins because I haven't heard of that yet. But that'd be really interesting. I can imagine that would work because you can get paid in cryptocurrency for hosting a VPN node, and then use those nodes to migrate to kind of mitigate your service through. That would make sense. Yeah, that'd be.
Are you talking about Deep Onion?
Deep Onion? Yeah, yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I just found it.
Yeah, I knew it was Onion something.
Private and secure digital currency.
With all that world censorship, that will help a lot.
Yeah, I know here, I've heard of a couple like these. I think, what was it, XUN? I have like coins I'm doing a giveaway on for them. I have to look more into them. They were doing something similar. Yeah, there's a handful doing some very similar things like that. Very interesting stuff. Really, Deep Onion.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to look into that.
I have it up here if you guys want to take a look at it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so now that we're kind of done with the meat and potatoes of the smart contracts, unless anyone has any other questions, a little bit about us and a little bit about what we're trying to bring to Altspace. We are Block Decentral. We have a website where you guys can go in, check out the most current news on the crypto and blockchain space. Brian here has an in with a lot of dApp developers. If you want to go off a little bit on that.
Yeah, so we got a lot of like giveaways and things like planned and upcoming for things like crypto games and other projects in the crypto space. We got a YouTube channel, our Discord. That's where the main bulk of the community is. That's where a lot of the developers are actually located. I know one thing, we just released our community coin, so we now actually have our own token. It's the Block Decentral coin, BD. It's just like given away for free. It's like, so we have like an airdrop. If you go on Hexel is the website, you can just like request it for free. And then we give it out for participation. So if you like go on the Discord and are actually active and participate, you'll actually be able to earn the coin. And if you can like write articles and posts for our site and for yeah. Question. You want to pull up the links?
Yeah.
So jump into what exactly? So for jumping into any of ours, the best place would be to hop into the Discord. That's where you'd be able to find anything from getting to the coin. So for our token, you don't actually need anything crypto related. Yeah, so for crypto, I don't know if you want to hop in on this a little bit. So, Mike, do you want to?
If you want to get involved in cryptocurrency, there's a ton of resources out there. Well, you can use a graphics card if you want to mine it. Now, if you just want to buy it, the easiest thing how does mining work?
Not anymore. Not for solo persons on small computers.
Yeah.
It depends on the coin. Let me rephrase that.
To be honest, a lot of people, actually, I was in a thread the other day on Twitter, talking to some of the bigger miner guys on Twitter, and a lot of them have unplugged and started to dismantle their miners and selling their components because, the most profitable coin to mine in my time was always Ethereum, and now they're starting to they're slow. For me it was last year. You go anywhere from November of last year to February of this year, and I was making probably like $300-400 a month.
What? Yeah, you see in January how like
I had two
AMD.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was like AMD stocks dropped right when crypto crashed. The AMD stock price has kind of recovered now, but it was just for that little period where AMD just went.
Yeah, and Nvidia too. But
it's because they were selling all the crypto users.
Oh, dude, there was a time when you couldn't go anywhere and buy a.
Nah, man.
Card. But yeah,
my boss was talking to me about it.
Trading, holding, investing in good companies that you believe in the tech. What do you mean?
So, are you dumping off shares or what?
Holding bags.
Yeah, I'm holding all my crypto.
I'm back
How much,
already. Like,
what do you have? Like what's your,
I have my what's up?
oh, sorry, I was just telling. Like, I was just gonna give advice to that. If you're completely new to this, just play with a little bit of money. Definitely play with a little bit of money, because I started.
Yeah.
And I put in a lot of money when I started. I lost 15K because it was stolen and someone hacked my account. Then I lost another 57K.
Really shit.
Yeah, it depends what you use. You got to do your own research. That's the biggest point of it.
You gotta do your own research. You gotta like be really careful with your money. You gotta put it on a hard wallet. You gotta put it on like the Ledger Nano.
I saw this guy on Vice. Eventually gonna be could get his money out. Could get his money out.
Who said that?
Like he went to a Vice. Bitcoin.
No,
We can hear you.
Screen. Come over here.
Shit now. Oh, it took him like 3 months or something.
Come over here. I can see you. Yeah. Yeah. What's up?
So mining, if I mining gonna be AI or
I've heard of. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could, but let me turn off my
Yeah.
microphone. Hold on.
No one can really talk to the owners of an exchange, so if some glitch like that happens, you can only
Anyway,
sort
so
of take it and it'll be
I
like
guess
$5.
eventually it could, but the cost to deploy an AI network to mine would be so cost prohibitive, it wouldn't be worth it. So the race right now is to build the most cost
Why does he
efficient
have that
miners
up?
that you can get. There's companies out there like Bitmain who are like they're making these ASICs, right, that are dedicated to mining. They're dedicated mining computers, and the race is on to get the most power out of the computers for the least amount of money. Otherwise, there's no point, right? Because you have to get a return on investment. So, if anyone was to deploy an AI-powered mining network, first of all, the hardware involved, the resources involved. I mean, I don't see how, unless they go and invest a couple of billions of dollars right now, how it would be profitable at all.
you can't like cloud host supercomputer. How they're like vortex
So no, I mean, there's ways. So you heard of Amazon Web Services?
yeah.
So they host GPUs, CPUs on their services. So you can use the resources, right? There has been people have tapped into those resources, paying for them to mine. But now you're talking about $25 an hour, right? The odds of you getting a return on investment when you're paying $25 an hour to rent equipment is little to none. You feel me?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you guys all hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. You were definitely loud and clear.
And there's some people try to think that you can use one cryptocurrency to mine another cryptocurrency. I think, like using Golem, which is they claim it's gonna be like a supercomputer one day, but right now,
Yeah.
all the collective power of people's idle power to render like a picture in like takes a lot.
Yeah, that's not using. So, Golem is not using one crypto to mine another. Golem is its own blockchain. So, it's a program that you download and you essentially run your computer on their blockchain, and it essentially takes your computing power and stores it. I don't know exactly where it stores it. I know a lot of them.
What it does is you open ports on your computer that you're running the Golem protocol on,
Yeah.
and it accesses your resources as it
There you go.
as it
There you
needs
go.
them, and as it uses your resources, you're rewarded in the GNT tokens in return.
Yeah.
Did that with SETI, like the SETI project. That's it.
Oh, sorry, my phone is my headset's overheating. All right, see you guys.
Peace.
Later, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting off soon too.
I didn't know like my computer.
You invested in SETI?
Yeah.
You're probably abducted, bro. To be honest,
On what?
you're probably abducted.
That's where I like.
You invested in SETI?
No, not money, but like computing power.
I didn't even know they had it. Yeah. I didn't even know they had an ability to do that. That's cool. Yeah, there's a couple projects out there that monetize it so that you get paid. Do they pay you to let you use their? Oh yeah.
It's like the, I mean,
That's cool. Yeah, that's tight.
But then you're probably gonna have to get paid once you start doing that. Like, why pay for yourself?
Or, hey, come over here.
What if I didn't?
Yeah, come over here because you're standing behind the screen. No one can see you.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so these other protocols that allow you to share your resources, they pay you to do it. So, I mean that's pretty cool, right? Is there any
Yeah,
other
man.
questions on either crypto, blockchain, or smart contracts? Stardell, you still with us?
Did anyone talk about waves?
I know Waves is another platform. Do you know anything about Waves?
I've heard of it. I haven't done actual like any research into it. I know it's in like the top
Yeah.
20.
Waves just released smart contract capability this week.
Oh,
very
really?
cool. Yeah, I actually was looking into Waves a while back when I was talking to a buddy about starting our own crypto project. It's probably the cheapest way to start your own token.
Yeah, it has been, but this smart contract capability was just released on mainnet this week, and so it'll take.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is
so
awesome.
you ought to look into it even more. They're,
I'll probably do that.
non-Turing complete for now.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, but within the next 6 months, they will release Turing complete, so they'll have all the capability of Ethereum plus all the other great stuff that they've got. So you ought to check it out.
That's really good to know. Yeah, definitely.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Who are the major players in blockchain at the moment?
Oh man. No, he's not involved at all. For as far as we know, but I think Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong,
Binance
there's
CEO.
Roger Ver. Yeah,
Sorry,
there's
what
Binance.
like companies, yeah, like what I understand like the people, but what are the names of the companies? And like what do they do to get there?
Let me see. So I mean that's pretty easy.
Coinbase,
Tell you
that's
which
one of the
companies
major
are-
ones. And they're like the central exchange for like primary crypto, and they're huge. So
They're biggest in the United States.
yeah, God, what other huge ones
So,
are there?
Right now,
Vitalik.
the biggest companies in crypto.
It's not really a
So,
company though.
XRP, Ripple,
Yeah.
Ripple's a company. That's one of the biggest players in the game. You've heard of Ripple, right?
Are they even succeeding in anything at the moment? Like, what are they up to?
Right now, a bunch of companies signed on to use their rapid pay system or to test their rapid pay system on their network. So, I don't know if you saw last week that dramatic rise of Ripple. It's still climbing as far as I know.
Man, it gained
I think the last-
50% in one day. That was, oh my god, I posted a picture of that. That was insane. I know it dropped off a little bit the following day, but it's like, when you can just catch some gains like that, oh my lord. Yeah, that for whoever was asking how to make profits, if you can get into the right coin, they're still having, like, in a single day, you can get crypto that's, like, jumping almost 100% in price, which, if you compare that to stocks or bonds or literally anything that, like, makes you money, it's exponentially more profitable than anything else if you can get the right ones. That's, oh
Stellar?
god, that's been around for a while. Stellar Lumens.
Yeah, Stellar is one of the bigger ones. They're actually partnered with IBM, so their blockchain is being thought. Well, let me rephrase that. There's a lot of big tech companies planning on using. They're planning on using the Stellar network to use their blockchain on their network. So, like I said earlier, Facebook is thinking about using Stellar. I know Walmart.
They're not thinking of
was
using
even-
Stellar. They're gonna make their own.
I think it was Stellar. They said they. Or
There's no way they're maybe testing, but they are most definitely
Yeah.
making their own blockchain for anything substantial.
Yeah,
Walmart,
let me see.
though.
Let me see.
They're I've been on a rant about Walmart. They're buying up patents for crypto and blockchain left and right. It's ridiculous. They're not doing anything with them either. Not yet, anyway.
Let me see. Let me look this up because Stellar blockchain. All let's see here. So yeah.
Bet you that's them right up there with that massive ass fucking jump. That's probably not. No, what is that? Bitcoin Cash,
So yeah.
really? Is that really? Wow.
I can't find it, but yeah, the
Huh, what, Stellar? Yeah, Stellar's right
Yeah,
there.
there's a couple of companies that are courting Stellar to implement blockchain. Yeah, Citibank chain acquired by Stellar startup. So yeah, there was a Visa and Citibank backed chain that was acquired by Stellar. Facebook execs courting Stellar for their crypto strategy. IBM Business Automation is courting Stellar for their blockchain. What?
Oh yeah, IBM is it's blowing up in the blockchain space. They're gonna be like one of the next big, like, huge ones. For sure. Yeah.
Any other questions? You got a head.
Oh yeah, but I mean, they got the money for it. You gotta think about that. Like, they got billions in, like, just profits. They got a couple $100 million to spend on something as revolutionary as blockchain technology. It's like, if it fails, then it's nothing to them. But if it succeeds, whew, billions. Yeah, there's our links for contacts. Yeah, I got a whole lot of people dropping off. Yeah, no problem. Definitely check out our
Appreciate you, brother.
Discord. We'd love to have you on Discord. I'm active on the daily. We just got a guild up in some of the crypto games. We're gonna be starting some actual crypto gaming in our clan in the next couple of weeks and such. So that'll be exciting. A lot of big stuff, updates on the site, giveaways planned.
So yeah,
Can't think of anything
questions,
specific.
Any comments? Let us know. You'll catch us in here every now and then. Let me see. Deep Onion. I'm gonna write this down so I look into it.
Yeah, no, I already got it on my phone. I went and looked that up. I was curious about it.
All right, guys, that's about it.
Yeah,
We're
I'm gonna get
about
going.
wrapped up now.
Yeah, I gotta get going to bed.
Is this like a workstation? Like, can you make this like your little workstation too?
You can, Allspace hosts it. Yeah, it hosts events.
Alright, peace
so
out,
you can-
guys. Yeah, no, I'm going to fuck with bed, man. It's fucking bedtime. Bruh. Ugh.